I move?
What's that?
Do I hit arrows?
You can hit arrows. Just click on the screen, usually wakes it up, and you can hit arrows.
Perfect.
I'm gonna make you host. Hang on a second.
Oh, I did it. Yay.
You should have host now.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
kids, have a great morning. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Do you guys mind coming off? Can you open up your videos just for a minute and then you guys can close them after? I just want to see who's on here, that's all. Nick, are you there? Candace, are you there? Yes, it's just you and I, Jeff.
Candace is usually here. She's usually a couple minutes into 9 o'clock.
That's okay.
We've been in each class together throughout the whole thing, so I'm
All
pretty
right.
confident she'll be popping in soon.
Awesome. So what we'll do is I do it maybe a little different than others. I'm not sure. I have been doing this for a little while. So I like to introduce myself and then I'll have each of you guys introduce yourselves. I would like you to come off camera to do that, but I'm not going to be forceful. That's how we do it. How's that? And I guess that other gentleman, Nick, must have gone away, but that's all right. So if you don't know me, again, Melissa Lesniak, I'm with the Lesniak Home Team. I'm actually in the Dover office, so this is where I sit for now till we move down the street in a couple of months. Been with Keller Williams 18 years, and in real estate, this is my 21st year. I was with another company prior to coming over. I was actually number 41 of our company. So there's not many of us that are in that number. There's only probably 10 of us left from the original crew. But I've been doing it a while. I run a small team. I've had teams, I haven't had teams, I've been independent, and now my brother joined me probably, I'm gonna say it's almost 3 years now. I can't believe it. 3 years. Oh my gosh. I'm losing it. But anyway, he joined me a couple of years ago anyway, and he's our operations manager. He covers the back end of a lot of things as well as buyers, and I cover sellers and do a lot of the marketing for them. I do a lot in the community. I like to be involved with Keller Williams. I'm on the ALC, which is the Associate Leadership Council. And yeah, when I say community, there's probably something I've touched or somebody I've touched that belongs to an organization. So the last thing I'll share with you, it is my birthday month. So this Saturday, I will be the big 55. Can't believe it. Can now move into all those 55 and older communities without being harassed. So we'll go from there. How's that? I love what I do. Been doing it for a while. So anyway, how about you, Jeff?
Yeah, so a little bit of background on me. I've been in sales for pretty much my entire life. I started in the alcohol industry. I was there for about 25 years. Worked on both coasts, multiple states. So I've kind of been all over the country. Originally from Maine, moved back to New Hampshire. Started my own craft beer distributor about 6 years ago. It's this January I sold it. Oh, I was like, hold on. You got two of me there. I sold my shares and I decided I wanted to get into real estate. I had done a few of my own transactions as a buyer and a seller. I just decided it was something I was really interested in. I've already had some experience. I wanted to try and help people who kind of in the same situations I may be that I've already experienced. Started in June. So my first day as a licensed agent was the first day of Bold. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, so I'm new, 3-4 months in now. I'm just looking to keep it growing.
Awesome. What office do you sit out of?
I'm out of the I'm on Luana's team, so I'm out of the Portsmouth office.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
Where's the where are you guys moving the Dover office to? Because I live in Dover, so I've used the Dover office before.
Yeah, we're moving down to 660 Central Avenue, more closer to the hospital, opposite side of
Oh.
the road.
Yeah, yep.
The old Congress, no, Congress, Chris Pappas office.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
no
he
way, I
was
didn't know that.
congressman.
It's convenient for me.
So anyway, you'll have to stop by and see it. We're not, I don't believe we're moving till, I think our lease ends the end of this year. So
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate especially you guys. I know you guys are all busy and it's a big chunk of time, so we appreciate it.
Awesome. Candace, are you there?
I'm here. How are
All
you?
right. Perfect. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I don't know if I've met you before.
No, I'm a newbie. I'm a newbie too. I didn't join anybody's team yet, but I'm still working. I'm doing dual right now. I haven't gone completely all in. That's the goal for me soon though. Hoping within the next like 6 months I can really just not be doing anything else besides real estate. But right now I am working. Jeff and I actually did orientation together. We've been here in the Ride or Die Ignite classes together. Sometimes it's just only the two of us in here, so we haven't missed anything. I got licensed right around the same time. We did orientation together in July. It's been a few months for me. I'm flying solo as of right now. Was really busy over the summer, so I didn't really get to do much. I've just started back up with my classes and trying to get back into learning some more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
So
sponge right now, trying to absorb whatever I can.
no, that's great. And the Ignite classes will help you at least get you a little bit on track.
Yeah, they've been amazing.
And they
I've
go in,
really,
Oop, go ahead.
oh no, it's just been great. I've really enjoyed all the Ignite classes. It's been the best class so far for me. It's been so nice to hear from the other agents where they come from, how they're doing, how they got there, while teaching the class, along the way. It's been a great experience for me anyways.
Yeah, it's nice that they go in order so that you can follow along, but I know
Mhm.
Tim also records them so that if you miss something, you can go back and do it as well. Jeff took Bold, so he could probably say it was probably a good eye opener for an agent just coming in the business. I've taken it a number of times. I always learn something new from it, and this Bold happen to be different than any of the other 24 bolds that I've taken. So
24
it was
bolds. Wow.
good to see. Good to see the change. Yeah, I know people say, oh my gosh, you've taken so many. I used to take it twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, because what happens is you take bold, as Jeff will say, and probably Mark too. You take it, and then the next 3 months you implement what you need to do to get your business going. And then in the fall, I would take it again. And over the winter, those 3 months, it would, again, you implement what you learned in bold, or just get you a reboot, just kick you in the butt to
Yeah.
going. And then I'd
Do
start
they
again in
do
the
it
spring.
twice every
What was
year? Twice a year? Do
I
they
used,
do it twice a year? They offer it? Is that how it
so
works?
they used to offer it twice a year in Portsmouth or right around the area. Like I've taken it in Portland, I've taken it down in Massachusetts, I've taken it in Maine, in York. So there's different areas. You just have to kind of look at the bold schedule. I don't believe we're not doing it again. Don't think we're doing it this fall. So we're going to do it again probably in Portsmouth in the spring. But Jeff, what did you think? The first one you took, I mean, you have nothing to compare it to, but it was pretty intense.
Yeah, I think for me, like not to get too off topic, but like for me, I think as a new agent, it was a lot of like there's a lot of good information. For me, I wish it was a little bit more implementation um on some of the things, but like just just being in that room with that many people who are all kind of working towards one collective thing is pretty powerful. And if somebody hasn't taken it, I would 100% recommend taking it. Again, for me, I'm new. I don't know any other way, so it's kind of I just kind of taught me what I do now, and that's just kind of how I do it. So I don't really have any pre-existing biases or bad habits yet. So I think that was probably also maybe a little bit of a benefit for me. You know, I'm not trying to rewire anything. I'm just trying to hook the wires up. So
Yeah, and you'll see different classes that are offered, whether it be in the office or regionally, or if you go to any of the national events. Just good, taking something, at least one or two things away from each one, I think is helpful. So that's what I hope to do here. All right, Raven. I don't know if I've met you before.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
I am out of the Portsmouth office. I'm quite new. I've only had my license for I think like a few weeks now.
Mhm.
But I am currently dual as well, dual careers. Um, I'm just gonna slowly, I think very soon, like very, very soon, I'm gonna start doing part-time at my current job. And then or slowly get into real estate full time. So I'll probably do like 3 days a week at my current job and then do the rest real estate very soon here until I can kind of like financially be able to hop in full time.
Gotcha. I always used to say, when I started, I had a business coach outside of Keller Williams. I don't think Keller Williams had the coaching program, but my coach said to do a couple different things when you get into business, into real estate, or typically any business that you want to own your own business as. And number one is to give it a name.
Mhm.
So obviously ours is the Lesniak Home Team.
Yep.
Get a LLC because you want to separate your personal money from your commissions and your spending of the business. And then get a good bookkeeper, get a good accountant, because you'll need them for when you do have sales. And then lastly, before you hit the ground rolling, have $25,000 in your checking account, because you're going to need to buy signs, you're going to need to buy marketing materials, you're going to want to take classes, you're going to have to pay your dues to the board, those
Right.
kind of things. So, not everyone has that kind of money, but you are starting a business. So I was fortunate to come out of a career in pharmaceuticals, and I had a good egg under me. And now I always have 6 months of funds set aside in case something happens. So just
That's smart.
something to do. And I've learned it all along. My brother will tell you too. He's very smart with his money. You just never know. The market changed, and it changed
Right.
quick recently. So we went from multiple offers on properties to crickets, literally.
Right. Yep.
And
And
I'm
you also never know when tax season comes, how much in taxes.
what was that question? I'm
I
sorry.
said you also never know when tax season comes. It could hit you in the face if you're not ready, because
Yeah.
next thing you know, you owe like thousands of dollars in taxes.
Yeah. Well, my brother laughs at me. I have a check that I actually physically get, and I bring it to the bank, and I like to talk to them. They know me, who I am, and they know what I do. And that goes to be said with networking. Anyway,
Right.
from that check, 30% automatically goes into a separate savings account in my business account that I opened at the bank for my business. So right there, it's usually 27%, but I put 30 because you never know, like you said, what's going to happen with Uncle Sam and state taxes. My brother will tell you a story about that one. But it's just you never know. So as long as you have a little, I call it my squish fund, you can eventually, if you don't need it for a business, you can always use it for fun when you have time. Scheduling the vacations. What were you
Right.
gonna say?
Yes. Oh no, I was just saying that I met your brother when I came to the Dover office to pick something up from him.
Oh, good.
And I also met him at the last partners meeting. But yeah, he's awesome. Very welcoming human.
Mark, are you on?
Yes, and well, I'm at the service center, but
That's
so the
okay.
market center, if you guys want to do direct deposit, they will do up to one extra account. So they, the market center will split. So if you say you want 20-30% to go into a different account to account for taxes and anything like that, when you just set up your direct deposit from the market center, they will automatically split and do it for you. So you don't have to worry about going to the actual physical bank to do it. They will do that. You just have a
Oh.
conversation with Tristan when you sign up. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Oops, did I miss anybody? Everyone good? Mark, you're can't talk really, right? More
correct.
listening?
Everybody's looking at me funny.
All right. Well, we don't want that. All right, we'll get started. You look funny anyway. Just kidding. Let's see here. Negotiating offers. Let me ask this. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just shout out. Has anyone done a transaction besides myself and Mark?
Not yet.
Not as an agent, but
Yeah.
I've done 5 of my own.
You've done 5 of your own. Okay. Candace?
Nope.
None. And how about you, Raven?
Not yet, but on the road to soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Good. They're not easy. And in this market, they're definitely not easy. When I was at Cody Gibson's workshop yesterday, he was talking about, do you remember the days when you had 8, 12, 15, 120 offers on a property, and we all raised our hand? I didn't have that many, but it was like now, like I said earlier, crickets. So people are being picky, and they're being picky about specific properties. And we'll discuss that more as we go in, but it hasn't gotten any easier. Put your buckles on and ready for the ride. Just trying to move you guys out of the way so I can see the screen. All right, so you guys are on class number 18, which is negotiate offers. You have a couple more before you end and graduate. Like I said earlier, if you have not taken a couple of the classes, they are recorded so that you guys can actually take them again. How's that? All right, do you guys have the workbook downloaded?
Yep.
If you don't, take a screenshot or grab the URL code and put it in your search of your Google. Well, I use Google, whatever you guys use, and that way you guys can have it. Or if you printed it out, it's 1,000,000 pages, but you guys can follow along. All right, today's agenda, we're going to talk about the 3 Ps of negotiation. We will actually starting off, what is negotiation? We'll start off with what is negotiation, the 3 Ps of negotiation, handling some negotiation tips and tricks, as Tim would say. At the end, we'll do recap and ahas, and then go over what you guys should be doing on a daily basis. And that goes to what you said, Jeff. You know, you said about implementing from what you got in bold. This will help you too as well.
Yep.
Jeff, you want to read that?
Which one?
The quote on the screen. If you can't see it, I can read it.
What page are you? So I've noticed that my book, like the pages haven't necessarily matched up. What page are you on?
I think I'm on page 3 or 4.
Oh, see,
I'm
I'm on.
reading. It's a quote right in the middle by Leah Steinberg. Steinberg.
Trying to find it. Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
okay. All right, I'll read it. Negotiating is not something to be avoided or feared. It is an everyday part of life. And as you guys know, when I was looking up to post today on the Facebook page about what is negotiations and what I can talk about, I could have put anything. You could negotiate another contract with my brother's at the car dealership. Maybe he'll buy a car. You know, you'll negotiate with your kids, your spouses, your significant others. We're going to talk specifically about negotiating with houses and or properties. Negotiation and the WI4C2TES. So when I was part of Keller Williams early in my days, we didn't have the E and the S. It only went up to 2 T's. No, it didn't. It did have everything except for the E because it said T's. So they've added equity for all in that. And this is usually posted. I'm trying to see. Typically, we'll have it posted at all the offices because it's something that Keller Williams, it's their belief statement and what they believe should be for not only you, but you and your clients and or customers. And if you read through those, you'll see what we're talking about.
I don't see that.
Which one relates to the negotiation process? Does anyone know?
Probably all of them.
I would say all of them, but mainly I would probably go ahead. Somebody said,
Communication.
that's what I would say. You obviously want to win-win. You want to have integrity to do the right thing. Customers, as we know, they say in business, customers always come first. Commitment to in all things. As you said, communication, just because if you don't communicate right, something can get missed, something can get overlooked. Communication, depending on how you communicate, is important. Having creativity, because there are certain things that in this market you may have to do to make a transaction work. Remember that we're all on the same team when we're doing a transaction, whether you like the person, whether you don't like their company, it doesn't matter. Whether you don't like your buyer or seller, maybe you're mad at the other agent's client, but we're all in this as team to get through it. Put trust out there, be honest in your dealings. Like I said earlier, equity for all, be fair. And then eventually you'll have your success through the team and the people that you're working with to go back to the win-win. Either that or it falls apart. Jeff, have you ever had a deal of yours fall apart?
Well, yeah, like, so yeah, for me, it's as a seller and a buyer, but somebody lost a job during escrow. I've had boilers blow up during escrow.
Yeah.
All sorts of fun stuff.
Mark, have you? I know he has, and I definitely have over the years. So it's not fun.
100%.
Yeah, not fun, but if you can make them come back together, it's always good. If you can't, then you just move on. All right, the path of a negotiation. There are 2 options after an offer is presented. So you have to write it up. Option number 1 is, I always say there's 3 parts, but typically there's 2 according to this. Option number 1 is you present the offer, and I'm just saying I'm the buyer's agent. Jeff will put you as the seller's agent. How's that?
Sure.
I present my buyer's offer to you and your sellers. You accept it. There's a whole bunch of stuff in between, and then you close. I wish it was that simple. Seems like the higher priced ones are a lot simpler than the smaller ones. Option number 2 is my buyers and myself present a offer to Jeff's sellers and Jeff, and it either gets countered or rejected. We see that quite often. Not as much rejected as we're thankful for, but it does get countered. In that, the negotiation takes place, and after the negotiation and everyone comes to terms, it gets either accepted or again rejected, and then it closes if it comes to that fruition. I always say that the third one is if you're presenting an offer, well, I guess it's an option too. It just says rejected. I say you can accept, counter, and reject. So I break it down 3 ways. They actually did it only 2. So on that. Any questions on that? Pretty simple technique, except for the million things in between. Who you negotiate with. So your clients and the other agent on the other side of the transaction. So like I said, if I was the buyer's agent, it'd be my clients I negotiate with sometimes, and then also negotiating with Jeff and his sellers. So right there, it shows, let me just move you guys out of the way. Shows the buyer's agent, who gets involved, then present it or go back and forth with the seller's agent and the seller. Pretty straightforward. Any questions? I see Jenny joined us. Hi, Jenny. Sorry, I had you blocked on because I had to move you guys so I could see the screen. Yep, maybe she's not there. All right, this thing that your screen of you guys is going to the bottom. All right, she said hi, so she's here. Common points of negotiation. Number 1 is typically price. So Jeff, you've done deals. Raven, did you say you were possibly doing a deal?
No, but I'm kind of getting things flowing a little faster than I expected.
That's
Like
all right.
just like leads and stuff.
The one thing I will say about an offer is I wish the price was on the last page. And the reason I say that is because you send over the offer to the other agent and their seller or my seller, depending on what side I have, they always look at price first.
Yes.
I mean, I do too, but
Mhm.
they don't look at anything else in the offer. What Mark and I do, which is something I've seen a few other agents do as well, is have you guys ever seen on a presentation of an offer of a summary? So if I am the seller's agent and I get an offer in, I break it down in a summary and attach the documents to that summary so that my sellers know the key points of the offer. Just as well as if I represent the buyers and I'm presenting an offer to another agent, we now have a summary to that seller's agent that shows them the different dates and price points of that offer. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll tell you, if you don't do it now, when you do start putting in offers or accepting offers from another agent, start doing that because it makes a difference, especially if your sellers aren't in the same room, they're not together, there may be a divorce. It's really hard for them to understand a purchase and sales when it's probably, a lot of them haven't seen it either at all or maybe many years ago.
So you're saying kind of sound like a cover letter with the P&S?
Yeah.
Okay,
It'll
that's a
have
good idea.
Yeah, it has an offer date. It has the offer, meaning the price. It has the terms of the inspections and when their due dates are, or what they include. It just depends what side you're on. It may change just a little bit, but it's a great way to help your buyers or your sellers, depending on who you represent, have some good idea of what the offer is. So take that away. That's at least one thing you guys can take away. So the common points, like I mentioned, that got me on that tangent. Number 1 is price. As we mentioned, primary factor, cost of the property, terms, which is either financial, time-based, or both. I forgot to ask, who's licensed in New Hampshire? Everyone? Anyone
I'm only
licensed?
licensed in Maine.
Raven, you're Maine, Candace?
I'm just New Hampshire, sorry.
Yep, that's all right. And Jenny, I think she just put something in the chat.
Maine was me. I'm just Maine right now.
All right. And Jenny is both. All right, cool. So I'm both as well. I grew up in Rollinsford, so when I got my license for New Hampshire within 6 months, I was like, I got to get my Maine license. And it's helped. All right, what do I do here? As I mentioned in the beginning, the agenda for today, talking about the 3 Ps approach, preparing, presenting, and positioning yourself. Preparation is the key to confidence and ensuring a smooth negotiation process. As I mentioned to you guys, having that summary, whether you're on the buy side or the sell side, will help that not only you understand it, but your clients and hopefully the other agent. I'm doing a deal right now with an agent that I think, I'm not going to use this word, older than dirt, but older than dirt. And she's been in it a lot longer than I have. And she sent me the offer for her clients 1 page at a time, which is fine because we know how to deal with it. But, you know, it was just like, oh gosh, here we go. We're on a process. So that doesn't have anything to do with negotiations, but it does because it slows the process down a little bit. Next is presenting the Ps, the second P of 3 Ps in the process, moving into the negotiation process by presenting the offer. So that offer then gets presented, and then positioning yourself, moving both parties closer until you have a full agreement. So the nice thing is the offers are sectioned off. And the nice thing is once you get to be as many years in the business as I have, it's nice because what you can do is literally know where the sections are. They have changed the forms a little bit since the change about 1.5 years ago, yet it does allow you to move a little bit quicker in the negotiations. Please, 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 if you don't do this now, do this. Make sure you go over every paragraph, just like you would a buyer or seller agreement with your clients. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, some of them haven't done it in a long time, or some of them haven't done it at all, and this is a new document to them. So the best way you can position them is helping them to understand what an offer is. Now we're going to go into the preparing part of it. First, you want to know your goal. So depending on what side you work with, if you have a buyer, their goal is to get the lowest price and best conditions on that for the quick transaction. Same as sellers. You want to make sure that they have their own goals. They probably want to get a higher price. And even though your buyers may have some or none conditions, the sellers usually want less than a buyer does. They can't always get rid of some of them. Sometimes financing can't go away. Sometimes selling a home can't go away, but those are just speed bumps in the offer that is made. Know your client, know how they're going to react. Sometimes you have to take a deep breath. I know I do before you present it. The nice thing is I work closely with my brother and he's on all of our contracts as well as I'm on all of his. So if I had any questions about any of the things our clients are asking about, it's nice to be able to bounce it off of somebody else. Thinking ahead in the process, so knowing what your clients are going to offer. How many of you guys, well, I guess I'm focusing on Jenny and Jeff, have said to your clients, I suggest this price, and they want to go higher if it's on the seller side, they know they want to go lower if it's a buyer side. How many times have you said to them, let's play these scenarios and see what you think would happen, or put yourself in the other person's shoes, especially if, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but lately we've seen a lot of buyers put in offers that are below asking and asking them, why they're doing that a lot of times, asking a lot of questions, but also informing them and thinking about what the seller might say. Or I've had clients say, well, if we do this, the seller will do that. We don't know that, yet we can probably think ahead because we're thinking about how we would feel ourselves if we received something like that as an offer. Setting clear expectations, making sure everything is in writing, everything, or asking the seller what they're going to leave for furniture or property, items that are personal, as well as where they're going to go, what their expectations are, what's their timeframes. Be informed, know what's going on in the market, always obey the rules, never try and do something that's not in the commission's realm of legal, also our office legality, and then know your documents inside out. That's what I talked about earlier. If you can present an offer, talk to a buyer or seller about an offer without even having the document in front of you, you may not do it word for word, but you have some idea as to what it is that that paragraph is talking about. Don't just go over the paragraphs that have words or numbers that you have to add. Go over the ones that don't. Like I think of the page 5 of the purchase and sales in New Hampshire. It talks about financing and a commitment letter. Well, if it's cash, you don't need that page, but you still have to write something in there. So a lot of times people will not put anything in there. I think about the paragraph that talks about insurance on page 1. Not sure what number it is, but I know it's at the bottom. People don't talk about keeping insurance on the property. I can't tell you how many sellers have told me and Mark, we don't have insurance. What? I don't want to hear that stuff. You got to have insurance. So, know it inside out and preparing yourself to be able to negotiate well for whatever client you have. Any questions on preparing? No? Looks like everyone's put me on no video. All right, we're moving on to present. Asking the right questions. Did I do that right? Yeah, asking the right questions provides you with the points you will negotiate on. That is really key because if you have that summary, it's nice to have because you have the points all bulleted in ways that you can explain it. Provides insight as to where you and clients will have leverage. Again, setting clear expectations with your clients and asking the right questions, especially motivation, allows you to, am I still on prepare? I think I am. I usually do this in person, so I have to apologize, guys. This is something that's a little different for me to do it on Zoom. I think we're still in preparing. Allows you to get to your client and their goal and helps you learn what makes it a win-win situation for both parties. Does anyone know the difference here between open-ended and close-ended questions?
Oh,
Go ahead, Raven.
open-ended you should be able to, it's like asking a question. So like you should be able to receive a statement back. So it's like, what kind of color, or like if you're selling, or like, what are your features on a house that you're looking for? Like that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yep. No, that's awesome. That's a good one because having a pre-buyer or pre-seller consultation, it looks like these, I'm gonna say most of the, well, I guess these questions could answer both buyer and seller, but asking the details up front if you're working with a buyer or asking the seller, what would you take for an offer? And they have to do actual responses to you versus close-ended is more of a yes, no, maybe one word answer. Do you have to sell your home by a specific date? That's pretty much yes or no. Do you
Right.
have any, oh, go ahead, Raven.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
All right. Do you have any other offers? Meaning that if somebody has an offer on it, that's a multiple offer situation. If we know something else is coming, it's going to determine how a seller is going to react to a certain offer that is in. Like we have that situation now, or just had it now recently. We had an offer come in, or two offers come in, and we were possibly going to get a third. And our seller had to make a decision within 24 hours, not who they're going to work with, but if they were going to answer those two offers or wait for the third offer to come in. And the seller ended up deciding, you know, that they wanted to negotiate with one of the two offers, and that third offer never came in. So, you know, sometimes it's hard to determine what's going to happen, but the one thing I will say is that if you feel confident, I think that was a word in one of the past slides, but be confident in what you're talking about. And again, like I said, I have Mark that helps if I can bounce anything off of. We also have our brokers that if you guys have any questions, you can do. And then what is the bottom line price you would consider? That's specifically talking to a seller. Well, actually, it could be both. I don't work as much with buyers anymore, so sometimes I think more as a seller's agent. But yeah, because if the seller is got a price up here and you've got documentation through a market equity report or a market analysis or an RPR report that you've done for the seller and for the buyer, you may be coming down here and you have proof of it. That's what I always used to say to my buyers is if we're going to put in an offer, we're going to have a reason for it. And, you know, we've been lucky that if we put in lower offers, the seller will negotiate, but you don't want to offend anybody too. Anyone, Jeff, have you had anyone be offended?
No,
No.
no.
Anyone offend you?
I mean, again, yeah, for like I said, just for clarification, my experience is like as an actual seller or a buyer, like
Oh,
not
okay.
as an agent yet, but
Did
yeah,
anyone put in an offer that you were offended by?
I wouldn't say offended, but it's like we've
What's
had a
going
couple
on?
in the past where you're just looking at like, what, really? Like, where in your head do you think that? Like, you know, you're just confused by some of them, but I wouldn't say offended, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Really offended isn't a word I should use. Surprised,
Yeah,
disappointed.
disappointed and surprised for sure on someone. You're like, what?
The good thing though is by having an offer, it means that there's something you can negotiate with or try and work to make it work out, especially if there's no other offer on the table.
Yep.
All right, so we are still in prepare. All right. What and why questions? These are questions that you have to think about as you prepare to negotiate. What would happen if? What's important to you? And those are just things that, as it mentioned in a previous slide, if you get to know your clients, you almost know what their response is going to be, especially when you work with sellers. You know I prepare my sellers to say, okay, what happens if the offer came in, we negotiated, and it came out at this? They're going to give you an answer. What happens if it comes out at this? They're going to give you an answer. So there are a couple ways of doing different things here that you can react to. What happens if financing falls through, or something happens with the inspection, or we have to extend dates? Those are all things you have to be prepared for. And for those that haven't written up offers, get to know, like I said, and I'll say this again, get to know the purchase and sales agreement, just like you would any other contracts we have. And then why is this important to you? Always knowing why. I'm actually a seller right now. I have one of my condos here in Dover on the market, and I thought it would go under agreement pretty quickly. I priced it under what the last one sold for. And not that I'm thinking about a price improvement right now or a price reduction, yet I'm trying to prepare myself so that if I did lower the price, what an offer would come in at, so that I can negotiate with a potential buyer of my property. So why is it important to me? Because I'm going to be in a 1031 exchange. And if you're not familiar with that, it's selling an investment property and buying another one. So in order to buy that other investment property, I need to get at least a certain amount on this one to be able to move forward. Does that make sense to everyone? Those two questions? All right, perfect. If you don't answer, I'm going to assume you guys mean yes. Best practices. So this is in the presenting phase. Best practices when presenting. Call the other agent. So depends who you talk to on this. I know here you're going to be in communication with the other agent, no matter what side you're going to be on. If you're going to put in an offer, I definitely encourage you to call and let them know, or let the seller's agent know. Because if you don't, they don't know it's coming, and you don't know as a buyer's agent if there's other offers on the table. Can you ask if there's other offers? You can, but they don't have to always tell you. So always call the agent, say, my client's very interested, we'll be putting in an offer. Typically, they'll ask you your time frame. So have that known, how quickly you can get it over to them. Pay attention to nonverbal cues like pauses and voice qualities. So on the other agent, when you present it, or in person, if you're talking to them, maybe at an open house or at a showing, just kind of, I know I ask a lot of questions, or I did when I'm at open houses. I'll ask them, where are they moving to? Even though I don't represent them, a lot of times they'll share at least that information. Are you moving to this area? Are you moving to another area? Do you have a property to sell? A lot of times you can tell by their voices, whether it be they answer quickly or slowly or not at all. You can give some kind of instinct as to what the other agent's going to do in presenting your offer. It says here, keep quiet once you present an offer. I don't know about you guys. I feel that as a seller's or buyer's agent, the last thing I'm going to do is keep quiet. I'm not going to bug the agent, but I will put on a date there that I want a response. In New Hampshire, unfortunately, it doesn't have a response time, but I'll put in the offer. When I used to do it, I'll say, please respond within 24 hours. Doesn't mean they're going to negotiate, doesn't mean they're going to accept, doesn't mean they're going to reject, but I would like to hear from them within 24 hours. If I'm on the seller side receiving, especially in Maine, they do have a deadline on a response time. So not that I'm going to keep quiet, and I don't know if any of you guys feel this way. I think keeping the lines of communication open, I think somebody mentioned when I asked what the most important characteristic of our value proposition was, we talked about communication. So just keeping, not necessarily quiet, but keeping the communication open. Listen carefully to what is important to the other party. So I don't see it as often. Sometimes the buyer's agent will ask us as seller agents what the seller's expecting. Are they expecting to move quickly? Do they have a place to go? Are they looking to move quickly as far as a closing date? those kind of things. So whatever's important to the other party, it helps in presenting a good offer with less contingencies and less conditions if possible. Stay calm and relaxed. Always take deep breaths. Focus on your customer's needs. Remember, these contracts are between the buyer and the seller and not you and the other agent. So when presenting to the other agent, hopefully 110% of the time, they're presenting it to their clients and getting back to you. But focusing in on maybe your clients want a response quickly if you're a buyer's agent because they have other properties that they may consider if this one doesn't work out. And then give the offer the best chance. I always say presenting an offer to a seller if you're a buyer's agent with less conditions. Obviously, we can't change financing conditions, but you can change what type of loan it is. You can change how much somebody puts down. Even though somebody's putting down a FHA or VA loan, which are two loans that have low requirements for down payments, sometimes your buyers can put down more, and it makes the other person, which is usually the seller on the other side, feel a little bit more comfortable. Any questions on that? Yep. Essential steps. Now we move into the positioning of actual negotiations. Acknowledging and affirm common ground, making sure both parties understand what the negotiations are. So many times we'll put it in a text message or we'll put it verbally. My brother always says this, and I believe in it. If you do anything verbally or in text, always send an email because you want some sort of paper trail. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
That way, if you're doing a price, somebody didn't hear you incorrectly, somebody didn't hear you say the wrong price, maybe what's included, maybe at the open house or a showing, the seller's agent said this would stay. Maybe now the sellers are deciding they don't want some piece of furniture or appliance to stay. Make sure everyone's on a common ground. And by doing that and sending an email, it definitely helps everyone to do that. Ask what and why, what and how questions, knowing that positioning is a process and it's not just a yes, no. That's why they talked about open-ended, and know when to walk away. There are some points in a contract that cannot be fixed. Typically, I'm going to focus in on financing, and the other one is inspections. Sometimes sellers can't agree to fix anything because they can't or can't do it monetarily. And then buyers can't always fix something or buy a home maybe that needs work because maybe they can't afford, besides their monthly payment and everything that goes into a monthly payment, don't have the extra money to be able to do that. Everyone okay so far? Good? All right. All right, we're still in positioning. Take an action scenario. We don't actually have to do this because for time reasons, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but usually what happens is I'll read through it and we'll just kind of do it together. The scenario is the property has 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and is listed at $350. Gosh, where is that house? In a well-established neighborhood. The house requires new carpeting throughout the first floor and a new garage door opener. 3 offers have been made, but all were below asking price. Oh, where did I go? Everyone got that scenario? What would you do if you were a buyer's agent in that scenario? You would probably do your best to make sure that you find out, you know, that there's 3 offers. You want to make sure, depending on what the asking price is, that you help your buyers put in a good offer. Seems like in this market, that price would be good because our price point is much higher. Does the house need a lot of repairs? No. More carpeting, which could ask for a concession, but now you're asking for more conditions on the offer. Could you ask for a new garage door opener? I don't know. I just bought one on Amazon for $5. So I think they're talking about the whole mechanism and not just the little controller. But again, neither one of those are safety issues. So I'm gonna not say get away from them, but they're not as important as the price in this one and knowing that there's 4 offers. What do they say for here? Making sure, this is one thing, I didn't even mention this in the beginning, making sure the biggest thing is any buyers that you're working with, make sure they're pre-approved, because trying to get a bank loan officer to call you on the weekends a lot of times, unless they're really into the extra hours, I guess I don't even know what to put. Most bank workers, I'm going to put this, don't work on weekends. I know some that do because I work with some of them, but a lot of them don't. They usually work Monday through Friday. So make sure buyers are pre-approved. If you're the buyer's agent, make sure you have the letter in hand. Doesn't have to have any address on it. Most lenders will put just that they're approved for this amount. If you're the seller side, on the pre-approvals, make sure you're asking if the buyers are pre-approved. You don't necessarily have to ask for a letter, because in their offer, it will state how many days it will take for them to at least give an offer to the seller. Let's see, what did they say about the sellers? I didn't even read this scenario before. Sellers have raised their family in the house you are selling. You have many friends in the area, and they have many friends in the area. Since the children, they no longer need the space that their current home provides. They would like to give all the appliances to their daughter. They will not be moving until they've sold their current house. And although they would like to get to Florida as soon as possible, they're ready to stand their ground regarding price. So the buyers put in, you can see, an offer a little bit less than asking. I would, if I was the buyer's agent, knowing the market that we've been in, and we talked about actually yesterday in Cody Gibson's class, put it at least asking price, especially if they're not going to, ask for a lot of things. I know the sellers here are going to be keeping some of the appliances. I would at least do that. In my realm of my buyers working with them. Closing, typical if they're doing financing, which it looks like they are. It's going to take about 45 days, making sure the sellers have somewhere to go. Nothing was mentioned about a clause in there that they need to find suitable housing. They just said it in there. But that's something that if I was the seller's agent, I would respond back to the buyers in the contract that they need to find suitable housing. Is everyone familiar with that, what that means? Jeff, are you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, just they need to find a house before the sale can go through.
Yeah. And if there's a closing date and there's suitable housing, if you get to a certain point, when I put for my sellers that they need suitable housing, I usually will say they need to find suitable housing, within a certain time. I don't have to put that in there, but it's nice to put in there so that if they don't find it, there's a way for the sellers to get out, as well as the buyers too, on both sides. Because you don't want to be,
contingency.
what was that?
Would that be a contingency in the contract
would.
for them to find their housing?
Yep, it would be a contingency. So that way, if you came to a certain date, the seller could either say we need to extend it or back out of the deal, maybe take it off the market. Buyers, when it comes to that date, if the sellers haven't sold their house or gone under contract yet, and finding another suitable housing, they can back out as well. So it gives everybody a little bit of an out. But it's a nice, I don't know, I like to have it in there when I have a seller because it allows you to be able to work with a buyer, even though they may back out if that you don't find suitable housing, but it puts a fire under their tush to actually go out and look for things, if that makes sense.
And there would be a date on there, so it'd be contingent upon this date, and if that date comes and passes, they have to make a decision.
Yes.
They haven't found their housing. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's called a home contingency. Home satisfactory home contingency. Yep. Yeah, see, that's where there's those little things that you learn as you go along that a lot of times people aren't aware that you can do that kind of thing, you know? There, we're gonna move on. Negotiation tips. So as I said before, be professional. I always tell both my buyers and sellers when negotiating, I'm just going to throw this out. Do you really want to do that? Because we have to sit across the table from them. And do you know what their response is a lot of times? We don't have to be in the same room as those buyers. But I don't know about you. I like it when there's closure and seeing a buyer and seller actually do the transaction. I love that. And I go to all my closings unless I'm on vacation, or something has happened. But I 98% of the time go to them. I like to see buyers and sellers at the table. I love taking a picture of the buyer and seller handing each other a key. So be professional. Keep your goal in mind, and your goal is probably meaning either your buyer's goal or your seller's goal. Paying attention to your communication and tone with everyone involved. There's no reason to get upset. I know my brother has had a couple of deals, and not that he's been upset, but he'll tell me a story and he'll say how frustrated he is, and I'll agree with him. Just, have somebody that you can bounce things off of. As I mentioned, not only if you don't have anyone in your office, at least we have the brokers that can help you as well. Continually refer to your client's motivation, remind them where they were when you first presented the offer and see if they're still there. Don't reveal too much. Listen more than talk. Keep your client's motivation close to your chest. So in talking with other agents, remember that you have that buyer agency relationship form, and not unless the buyer sellers tell you you can share information, you're not supposed to share anything. Listening, I know in open houses, I take notes. I usually do it with a lender and a title company, and they're like, what are you writing down? And I'm taking notes as we're asking questions. Even if the lender says to them right there, are you pre-approved? I write down that they were pre-approved. And this is information that I share with my sellers when I'm at the open house. It just is more asking the questions and writing things down and then listening. And don't be attached to the outcome. Like I said, sometimes you have to let it go. It's not always what we want. It's, again, the buyer and the seller that makes those decisions. All right, before we go on, anything that you guys took away? Anyone going to go open a checking and savings account with their business name on it?
Already got that. For me, the big takeaway, just the cover letter with the P&S, I think that was awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere, but it didn't resonate like it did today. So I think for me, that's going to be the biggest thing I take away.
Yeah, it's nice too, Jeff, because as a buyer's agent, presenting it to a seller's agent, it's great. And then if you're a seller's agent presenting that to your seller, it makes it easier. And some of the ladies on here are newer to real estate. If somebody sent that to me and I was newer to the business, I would be thanking that agent a million times over, because then it's easier for me to explain it to whoever my client is, if that makes sense. Anyone
I have
else?
one, oh, I have one, I don't know if this question will make sense or not, but do you have any, like, do you have any tips or anything on how to just understand your market better? Because since I'm so new and I'm obviously just getting into things, and I just want to, because I feel like I will most likely have like a buyer client before I have listing clients, and I want to understand them, learn how to understand the market better. If that makes
So
sense.
the biggest thing is to come to as many classes as you can.
Mhm.
Both here at the board, what board do you belong to, Seacoast or Stratford?
The Seacoast board,
All
yeah.
right, they offer classes all the time. I
Okay.
don't, once you're on a board, you're gonna get emails from the state too. They'll tell you what the market's going on. If you go to nhar.org, you can pull a lot of stats from that as well. Just keep in touch. Not always listening to the news. The news isn't always good. But
Right.
keeping in with it. I know a couple of you said you have dual careers. Learn as much, soak up as much as you can. With my buyers, just like I do with my sellers, I do a market equity update or a market analysis report. Because you want your buyers to put in an offer that's within a range. And when the seller's agent asks why, you have something there. So by
Right.
doing those both for buyers and sellers, you get to know the market a little bit better. I do 5 market equity reports for sellers, or not even sellers, homeowners in the local area. We target different areas, or if somebody calls and they want me to do an equity report. So I do at least 5 a week. And Mark and I have a program together that we then call them after a couple of weeks and we text message them, and they get put on drip campaigns through Command. I'll be honest with you guys, if you guys don't use Command, start using it. You're going to have to when you start doing deals anyway. I'm not proficient on the opportunity side as I should be. I think I'm pretty good on the smart plans, timelines, notes, putting stuff in. It's a good way to communicate, especially if you're on a team or you want to know, like, when's the last time you talked with them? We send out birthday cards. When was the last time we sent out a birthday or an anniversary card to them? So just to answer your question, just keep involved and listen to podcasts. I know there's quite a few out there, but diving deeply in is going to help you to learn the market. I'll tell you, do a market equity report on one of my condos. I'd love you to. You know what I mean? Just to get the practice.
Right. Yep.
In both MLSs has the opportunity for you to do those CMAs right there, a comparative market analysis for your clients and or somebody else.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was watching videos on YouTube on how to do CMAs.
Yeah, I know both the Prime and the main MLS, they have training classes. So if you haven't taken them, take them. Some of them you can do when they have them online, and you can actually get credits for them. So talking about Command, here we go. Learning more. So here's a couple answers to your questions. If you have tech questions, answers at kw.com. And then Command Connect. Under Command, you'll find the learning. I call it the university, but KW University, and their courses there you can take as well. How many of you guys write handwritten notes?
I haven't written any yet, but I keep hearing about how everybody has massive success with it. So I was thinking about doing like a mailer type of thing with the notes in there, but I feel like it's
So-
more for keeping in touch with your clients that you have already, like the 4 touches a year to send them the handwritten notes. Is that, I mean, I'm just supposed to send them to everybody, or do I just do it when I,
So,
you know?
yeah, you've got at least, they talked yesterday about 60 to 80 touches of your customers and clients a year. That's a lot. I was
That's a
like, oh
lot.
my
I heard 4 touches a
Well,
year.
we used to call it the 36 touch. Back many years ago when I started with like you guys, they actually had classes on it and they taught you how to touch your clients 36 times, whether it be phone calls, text message. Well, was text messages around 20 years ago?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think so. And if they were, it was not really great. I think I had a pager when I was
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah.
They were
So,
just starting up back in the late 90s. That was first starting to become a
all
technology.
right. I
Yeah, I
remember
had one of
having
those
a
Nokias.
pager. You guys remember pagers?
I
Yeah.
had a pager in high school. Yeah, I thought it was so cool.
Me too, especially when it went off. I was like, oh my God, somebody's trying to get a hold of me.
Yeah, before that, only doctors and drug dealers had pagers. So when regular people started getting them, it was, it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So here are some things you guys can do. And I'm a true believer of keeping in touch. My brother is definitely a true believer in keeping in touch. Him and I do things a little bit different. I like to text message, email, and handwrite notes. You guys can see this. Can you see it? I had a caricature done years and years and years ago. And so I had these cards made. Every time I do an appointment with a client, whether it be a buyer or a seller, I always send them this. And it's funny, whenever I get the listing and I'd go to their house and do an open house or a showing, guess what would be on their mantle? My little card. And I'd be like, yes. So, not that that's a way to get business, but I don't know of many agents that actually do. I still write handwritten notes for birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and all that kind of stuff. My mom taught us to do that way back when, and it just has stuck. So they say to have 10 conversations with people. I'm a big networker, so I'm always going to events. Like after this, I'm going to the Seacoast board for an event that's happening there. Going to chamber events. If you get somebody's business card, whether you send them an email or a handwritten card, it doesn't have to be as pretty as this. We do have these that have our names on them. We have some that say, thank you. We have some that say, my brother didn't like the sending out caricature handwritten notes. So we got the ones that have our logo on them on the front and then our address on the back and then just a little note you can write. So, and we give those out at closings as well too. So just know that keeping in touch with people through conversations, contacts added. So how many of you guys use Command? Jeff, do you?
I do.
Candace?
Just still getting my feet wet with it.
That's okay. Yep. And Raven?
I use Command as well. I'm still getting used to it as well. I'm like not figuring things out. Just getting I'm exploring the page a lot more.
There's
So
so much.
one
stuff in
homework
there.
assignment I'm gonna say, 2 homework assignments I'm gonna say to you guys. If you can't do like I do
I've been
5.
doing mock. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, what were you gonna say? You do mock what?
I'll try out like mock transactions. So like I'll do like a fake opportunity, or I'll make myself as a client and then
Yeah.
do fake opportunities, and then I'll go through Zipform and DocuSign to do all my stuff.
Yep. Perfect. The more you can use it, the better you get. Like 2 years or 3 years ago, I hadn't really used it. I didn't even know how to get into it. Like it would come up on my phone and I'd be like, I don't even know my password. I don't know my username. Now I'm in it every day because I have to be. But putting those conversations you have, especially if you get business cards from people, tagging them is huge. And you can make your own tags. Sometimes there are tags already in there that were pre-done by the whole command system. But if you put in at least, I was gonna say, if you can do at least 5, I know 10's a lot to some people, at least do 5 contacts, up to 5 market equity reports, at least 5 handwritten notes, and focus in on social media. And I forget what the 10-5-1 is. One is likes, one is comments.
10 likes, 5 comments, 1 post.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that.
So 10 likes, 5 comments, 1 post.
I believe that's what it is, yeah.
All right. I do probably 20, 20, and 5 a day. So I'm a big social media fanatic, and I do different things in the community and share with people when we do things in our team. And personally, I also share stuff as well. How many of you guys have a business page versus a personal page?
I have both.
And I'm
Same.
talking Facebook and Instagram.
I've got, for both I have.
You do?
Yep.
I tend to post more on my personal page than I do on the business. Mark helps with that in doing articles. Remember in bold, Jeff, when Hudson said for us to do something every day, and was it, yeah, he had something on the calendar every day, doing videos. I'm not good at them, but when I do them, I feel proud of myself. So the more you do videos, the more you're going to get people to preview them in making those comments. Other than that, what other forms of ways do you guys connect with people?
Just networking.
Yeah.
Just being around. Like, I'm lucky. I've got 2 younger kids, so it's like I'm around a lot of other parents all the time. So just
That's
being
a big
present.
one. That's a big one, Jeff, with sports and stuff or organizations.
Yep. Yeah. So just trying to be present and, not trying to be, the joke is what's, pilots and realtors, how do you know they're in the room? They'll tell you. But so trying not to be that cringy, but yeah, just trying, being in sales for as long as I have, it's just connecting with people first and kind of letting it happen.
Yeah. How about you, Candace?
I have a plethora of people at my disposal when I'm at work. I bartend and serve, so I've talked to a lot of people. And one of the first things I did was get a business card so I could start giving it to people that, and I don't give it to everybody. So I've taken a lot of the, you don't have to work with everybody when you're a new agent, even though you feel like you do, to heart, because I unfortunately sometimes have to work with everybody that's sitting in my at my bar or my table. So having that option is really nice. So I've been exercising that with who, I interject if I hear them talking about real estate or buying houses. And I work in Newburyport, Massachusetts. Most of my sphere is in New Hampshire, and I live in Maine. I live in Kittery. So, end goal is to be licensed in all 3 states, but I have been everybody. I've had a lot of support at work from my coworkers and, a lot of regulars. So I have a endless disposal of people. I also got some door hangers too for my neighborhood because there's been a lot of activity on just my street alone. There's been 4 houses for sale this year. In Kittery, there's a lot. I know there's about 35, 36 active listings right now. So I'm trying to farm my neighborhood a little bit, but I'm also trying to develop my niche. And I think I want my niche to be attracting people that want to move from out of state, move to Maine, move to the seacoast. Yeah, still trying to figure it all out, but I'm trying to have the 10 conversations a day. It's not always 10, but I've definitely talked to people every single day and hand out my business card. What I haven't been doing that I realize I need to start doing is when I have these conversations with people, instead of just giving them my card, I need to pop open my phone and dump them into Command and get their contact information so I can reach out to them. Like I just had one on Sunday. I had some people that, they ordered a Maine beer from the Maine Beer Company. And I said, oh, it's a great place. You ever been to their brewery in Freeport? And like, yeah, we live in Scarborough. And, the guy says, you've been so great, Candy. You've been so great. I'd love to hire you. And I was like, oh, I already got a side gig. And he's like, yeah, you were here last time you waited on us. And you mentioned what was it? And I opened my book and I pulled out my card and I said, I am a licensed agent in Maine right now. And the daughter says, oh my God, we're looking to buy a house. Give me that right now. So I should have got their info, but I'm hoping that they'll reach out. So I need to get better at that because I have that at my fingertips and it's great. So I'm going to be tapping into that more and I'm working now. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident about my value presentation and I've learned how to get the listing presentations, buyer consultations and all that, together for potential clients. And that's something I didn't have, before I started this. So I'm getting that confidence that I needed to be able to, prove my value to people, make them want me.
Yep, you can use your phone too. If you have a QR code, you can share it with them and they have the ability to do it on their phone. They can grab your QR code business card right there.
Well, my business card has my QR code on it, but it scans it to my KW website and not into my command.
I use
Is there a way to
I have two.
do
So
that?
I have two different things that I'm kind of trying out which ones I like. I use an app called Blink for one of them, and then another app I use Dot, which is the card. It's like a tap card.
Yep,
Oh yeah,
so it's an
the
RFID card, which works great because it kind of prompts them to send back the information right away, and then it'll, but whatever works. Those I'm leaning towards a Dot card because it's like you can tap it to them, and it, but the QR codes work as well. But those are both two really good options, I think.
yeah. Somebody told me that Blink is better than Dot, so I haven't looked into it, but
It
I
just
was looking
depends
into
on
Dot.
if you go. The reason why I went with Dot is it'll track like social media engagements as well if you get their pro service. But I've been messing around with both. I haven't really.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
no, you're fine. You're fine. All right, so I think we beat that. Get into command. If you do get in contact with people, getting them in there. Like I said, if you can tag them on how you want to communicate. We do, I don't know if you follow Tim Lindsay, but he does the DTD2s, tagging them with their last name, first letter is a great way to tag somebody and be able to follow that whole program that Tim does too. Appointments.
Yeah, Tim's great. I
Yeah.
love Tim. He's amazing.
Appointments are the key to getting deals together. So even if you, like they said yesterday with Cody Gibson, that if you get an appointment, it's at least a face-to-face with somebody. It's better than not having one. Appointments lead to agreements, making sure you get your buyer or seller's agreement signed, especially if you're going to be going out on showing properties. And then obviously, appointments go to agreements, agreements go to closings. Whoop. You guys are familiar with this?
Yes.
The do not call list.
It's expensive. Stay away from it.
Yeah, they were talking about how many lawsuits per day that Gary Keller has, and it's not small.
It's unbelievable.
We talked about this. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. That's your ultimate goal right there. Celebrate successes. Guys are almost there. Any questions? No? Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out this morning.
Yeah,
You
thank you
still
for
have
teaching
some
us.
time, still have time to get on to the New Hampshire contracts if you guys want. No, Maine. Maine's
Yeah, I've
at,
been missing that one because of class, but I usually catch some of it and then I get into New Hampshire because I'm going to get a New Hampshire license
I was looking at
hopefully
the
by
clock.
beginning of next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
So
right
I've been
now
in all
he's
the contracts classes.
in the middle of Maine. So jump off, get on. If you guys need anything, let me know. Can always help.
I'm actually on my way to Meredith right now. I've been listening as I've been like getting ready and driving.
No, that's all right. You're going to go to the all partners meeting, correct?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the contracts at 11, and And then I'm gonna get into just gonna stay there for the all partners as well.
Awesome. Well, drive safe. All
Thank
right,
you.
everyone. Thank you, Candace. Thank you,
Thank
Raven.
you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Melissa.
All
It was
right.
nice
bye,
to meet
guys.
you.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you, Jeff.
You too.
Bye.
See you soon,
Thank
Dylan.
you.
Bye.